Hello and good afternoon. Thank you all for attending today's webinar and Happy New Year. Today we're going to be looking at some of the new Solid Edge enhancements in the exciting new release of Solid Edge 2023, part of Siemens Mechanical Design or SMD portfolio. But first, before we get started, I wanted to quickly remind you that we are consistently adding new Solid Edge and NX, including CAD, CAM, and electrical content to our Prolim YouTube page. If you aren't already, go ahead and give us a follow on our YouTube channel so you get access to all this new free content when it drops. A little bit about myself if this is our first time meeting. My name is Aaron Creech and I've been with Prolim for over 3 years now. I have over 20 years of end user design engineer experience, much like yourselves on the call today. During that time, I've worked in the manufacturing, architectural, and automotive design industries. I built a strong working knowledge of most popular 3D design softwares, such as Inventor, CATIA, SolidWorks, several Autodesk products, and obviously Solid Edge. As a senior application engineer with Prolim, my primary focus is Solid Edge Mechanical, MCAD, Solid Edge Electrical, ECAD, and Solid Edge's manufacturing portfolio products as well. My career interests include generative design, additive manufacturing, and process improvement, or Kaizen. So with the latest release of Solid Edge 2023, Siemens continues to push the boundaries of product development. With exciting new capabilities such as CAD Direct, Design Configurator, Point Cloud Visualization, Accelerator Share, Convergent Hybrid Modeling, and free Solid Edge CAM Pro with every active seat of Solid Edge, just to name a few. So here's a quick look at our agenda for today's webinar. There have been many new features and inclusions with this year's release, and no way we could get them all in one webinar. So we'll be focusing on a few listed here to get our feet wet with some of the new improvements. And then in the near future, we'll be adding a few upcoming webinars and on additional topics for Solid Edge 2023, so definitely stay tuned for that. Today we'll see the new user interface in Solid Edge. Some really big changes here in the way Solid Edge looks and feels, and it's a big improvement in my opinion. We'll also explore the expanded capabilities of the context toolbar that was introduced in Solid Edge 2022. We now have access to regions in the ordered environment, and we'll see those in action as well. We'll review some of the new synchronous capabilities available in the ordered environment. We'll also look at the introduction of the style palettes that will help you achieve quicker and faster and better looking models. We'll finally dig into some of the new assembly features and the new visual explode command. And then lastly, we'll do a quick Q&A after this presentation. So please, if you don't mind, hold all your questions till the end of the presentation and we'll get to all the questions you may have. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for today's demonstration, we'll utilize the Yanu, which happens to be the world's first contactless bartending machine. So this thing can not only take your order, also pay for your order, but also mixes you the perfect drink. So I'm trying to get on the wait list now myself to get one of these for the house, but haven't heard anything back yet. But anyway, this design has been created all using Solid Edge, and this will be our data set for expanding on some of the new features inside Solid Edge 2023. So as you can see here, just right off the bat, we got some color changes and some toolbar changes inside of Solid Edge for the user interface. And if you're familiar with NX, this actually looks a little bit like NX. So this is kind of aligning Solid Edge with portfolio products. This all has the same look and feel, and most of the other add-on products all have this new same look and feel as well for Solid Edge or for 2023 as well. So kind of looking at a few of the tabs here, we've got the PMI. You can see there's some additional new refreshed looks for a lot of the existing commands. There aren't a lot of new commands to say, but they've kind of just refreshed all of the different looking icons, which kind of makes it a little bit more visually pleasing, at least in my opinion. I like the new look. So we'll go ahead and kind of just start looking at this part here. So this is a fairly large assembly, so I'm going to go ahead and activate the large assembly performance mode to help me kind of get through the design a little quicker and easier. So I can navigate this model a lot easier with that large assembly performance mode active. So along with the changes to the interface, we also have kind of a new looking Pathfinder here as well with some new kind of, again, just kind of to reiterate the new look and feel of things. We have a new hide and show feature here. I think previously it was just a box with a check mark. Turn it on. Now it's an eye. And you can see we can quickly deactivate, turn on and off these commands. Very similar to the way we did before. They just look a little different. So first we'll go ahead and explore the context toolbar. This was actually introduced in Solid Edge 2022, but I'm pretty certain it was only available in the sketching environment. So now Solid Edge has increased this functionality into the sheet metal, assembly, and part environment. So again, we can just click on any part here, just left click, single click, and we get this context toolbar. As you can see here, we can move it around if we need to. And essentially this works as if kind of works in line with the predictive text or predictive commands that was also introduced in Solid Edge 2020, I think. So this basically gives us, depending on what type of element we are selecting, it gives us the best kind of offering for the next command that we would utilize. So it's recognized that we've got this top shell here. It's an individual part, so we can either edit the definition, which is typically what you want to do if you're clicking on a part. You can edit it in place. You can open the file. You can show it. You can hide it. You know, basically, it's the same process of just previously what was a right click on a component and getting a list of all these different commands that you could choose from. Here is just a smaller, condensed, more prioritized command that we can select here. So we'll go ahead and just hide this part here. And again, we could have done that over here in the toolbar as well, but just kind of exploring a couple of different ways to skin the cat. And you know, this really speeds up the design time, you know, reducing mouse travel and command tool searching by offering the most reliable or relevant tool based on the element that is selected here. So again, always trying to save myself 1 or 2 clicks over an hour, over a day, over a week, over a year. That really does add up. So we're actually going to zoom in here. And we're going to take a look at this, the robot here that's holding the glass. Sorry, a little lag there. So we're going to focus on this robot glass holder, and we're going to kind of make some final changes here. So again, using the Pathfinder and utilizing the new search bar in the Pathfinder, we can go ahead and search for parts that we may not, you know, we may know where they exist inside of the design, but that's not always the case. And maybe we don't even, all we have is the part number. And we can either search down the tree of what could be hundreds or thousands of parts, or we could just now quickly search for these elements right here in the Pathfinder. So we'll do a quick search here. It highlights it for us in the Pathfinder. And then again, I'm just going to go ahead and do a single right click. And now I get that context toolbar again. So I could have left clicked and went down to open. But here we're going to take advantage of the quick access toolbar to allow us to, you know, preserving that long distance travel of the mouse to get to a certain command. So now that we're inside of the robot subassembly, we can see here that we've got a sketch and a few other components here that we're going to start working on. So again, we're going to kind of create this bracket in place and utilize this existing sketch for that. So again, I can just single click on the sketch itself and get my context toolbar. Go ahead and open that up, and that'll fire open the part environment here. So now that we're in the part environment, we also kind of want to explore some other enhancements that have happened with the new release of Solid Edge 2023. So previously, the Extrude contained you know, either a solid or a cut extrude, and the same for revolve. You had kind of two different options for each of these two commands, and now those have been condensed. So with automation, the extrude command can house both the cut and the add features, as well as the revolve command. So they've condensed those into just 2 simple commands, and then we can operate inside of that one command to do either a cut or a subtraction. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the extrude command here. And as you can see here, I've got a couple of different sketching options here. So I'm just going to select the outer loop to just do a quick sketch, or to do a quick extrude. And I'm just going to do a quick extrusion of 7.5 millimeters. Again, I can just left click and exit the command. And now if you see, kind of as explained before, we now have the ability to access regions inside of an ordered part environment. So again, we're in the ordered environment here. And if we just left click on the sketch here, we can go down and now we can activate regions. So I'll go ahead and activate that. And now as you can see, I now have the access to select any of these individual regions. So a pretty cool addition to the ordered environment. So let's go ahead and utilize some of these regions to finish off our part. So we're going to actually go ahead and make a first cut here on the bottom. And I'm going to hit my space bar and go ahead and add in a couple of these other regions. There we go. Now we'll extrude. I'll make those 15 millimeters. So now we'll continue on utilizing these regions here, and now I'll make a quick extrusion of these 3 holes here in the middle. So the good thing, another kind of really handy option here is if I've automatically created an extrude, but if I need to change that, I can simply right click, do an edit definition, and now I can change this add to a cut and quickly turn that into a cut here. So I'll do a symmetric extents and cut through the whole part. Go ahead and finish that up. So again, some really handy accessibility additions to the software here to allow us to kind of quickly and easily revise parts. Now I'm going to create a quick recess in this top portion here. And again, I'm going to utilize the quick access toolbar pretty much throughout this entire thing here. And again, if I've got it on automatic selection now, so if depending on the direction of my cursor, I can either add material or cut material away. So this is actually going to be a small recess here of 3 millimeters. Make sure I select the right location. There we go. So we'll go ahead and flip this part over and make one final adjustment here, one final cutout. And again, utilizing those regions is really a really great feature. So again, with the automatic selection turned on, I can just, depending on the cursor here, or I can simply just go to a cut, and let's go ahead and just create a, let's flip it around on this side. There we go. We'll just go ahead and do a cut through here, finish it up. And now we'll just do a couple of quick rounds on here to finish the part off, and we should be on our way. Let's do a quick 2 millimeter round. We'll go ahead and break these corners off on the edges here. And also up here on the top tab. There we go. Preview, finish. Well, now that our concept is pretty much finished here, we can go ahead and turn off and deactivate our sketches. We don't need those anymore. So now we've got some additional features at our disposal that we can utilize. So let's just say we've submitted this for a design review and some last minute changes are required here. So let's go ahead and look at some of the new added features in way of synchronous commands inside the ordered environment. So some of those inclusions for the synchronous moves inside of the ordered environment include move face, rotate face, and offset face. So we're going to utilize a few of these to kind of get finish off our part based on the required changes. So I'm going to go ahead and do a move face, and I'm going to select the back side of this cutout here. And once I select it and accept it, you can see that I get this familiar synchronous steering wheel. So for those of you familiar with the synchronous environment, this looks pretty familiar. Those of you that aren't, this is basically the synchronous steering wheel that controls the movement of parts on the fly. So I'm going to go ahead and just select this axis here. I'm going to move the part up and down here. And you can see that even though I'm in the ordered environment, I also have this design intent, which is picking up on some automated surfaces. So you can see here that coplanar is being identified here, and it's actually moving any coplanar faces along with that ride. But I'm going to just hit my C on my keyboard to turn that off. And now I can get the desired result that I'm looking for. Again, if I click C, it'll pick that back up. Let's go ahead and make a change of 3 millimeters offset. We need to make some additional changes to the rounds here on the part as well. So again, utilizing the Move Faces command, we can do that very simply. Select this round and this round. Accept that. Go ahead and move the steering wheel. And as you can see, it's actually notifying or identifying some design intent as well. So as you can see, by selecting the concentric option here, I can turn that on and off. I'm also hitting C on my keyboard. Toggles that on and off as well. But we need those concentric, so we're going to go ahead and make that change. We're going to go ahead and move this up 3 millimeters. So again, very easy to utilize some of these synchronous, the beauty of synchronous technology inside of the ordered environment as well. So let's look at one more of these commands here. We'll go ahead and look at the rotate face, and we'll check out another example here quickly. So now I'll go ahead and select the side of this face and accept it. I'm going to move my my origin point of the cursor up here to the top. And again, I can select by basically selecting any of the key points on this steering wheel. It's controlling my part. So I want to actually add in a little change here to this original base plate of the part. And again, in a traditional ordered environment, we would have to go back and change the sketch and then update any preceding features if they somehow became unattached or errored out for us. So we can do this on the fly here, and as you can see pretty easily, I'm just going to make this a -2 degree change here. And there we go. And just like that, we have a pretty cool finished part. We were able to make those design changes very quickly inside of the ordered environment, utilizing some of these really cool new improvements as far as allowing us to access some of the synchronous technology inside of the ordered environment without having to migrate over into the synchronous environment, make our changes, go back over in the ordered environment, and finish the part off. We can do that all in one environment, which is really, really great. And one final requirement for this part is we need to be able to attach this part to our subassembly. So we need to create a few holes. So we'll go ahead and create the hole command here. And let's go into the options here, and I want you to kind of see some additional changes that have been made to the hole options command here. So for both the threaded and the countersunk and the counterbore holes, we've added in this fit command. So for instance, if we have a counterbore hole, we now have the ability to add in a close, normal, or a loose fit. We can also apply some tolerances to those as well. So we can either do a type of standard fit, or we can actually do the unit tolerance here and add in our plus and minuses here as well. And you know, these will be added to the PMI information if you utilize PMI information to create the notes for your holes. This will all come along with that as well. But for this part, we're just going to do a quick isometric hole here, a threaded hole. We'll do just a standard thread. We'll do an M5 by M3 by 3.5, and we'll leave the fit alone for now. And we'll go ahead and just apply this. Place this here, and the position's not 100%. We don't really care about the distance right off the top, but we'll go ahead and constrain it to the center point of our hole here. And then again, if I just left click here, I get that context toolbar here, and I can create a quick dimension from the center of the hole to the center of the base. I'll do that 18.5. There we go. So now the final touch is just to do a quick pattern of this hole here to get us what we need. Select our feature. Do a smart. We'll make sure that we're on a circular pattern here, and we'll create from the center of our hole to the center of this hole, And we'll do a to the right. We'll also do a number of 6. Okay, we're at 6. There we go. We'll click finish, and now we have our 6 holes that are required for mounting our new part to the robot assembly. So now we can go ahead and save this and jump back into the subassembly. And now you can see our arm has been brought into the subassembly. So again, just kind of a quick and easy way to make some changes and kind of just changing the process a little bit and which way we have at our disposal to do that, which is always an improvement in my opinion. So now that our assembly is almost finished here, we'll go ahead and get rid of the sketch that's part of this design here. And now the final touch would be to add some additional materials to the parts that we just created. So new to Solid Edge 2023 is this new style palettes. So if you're familiar with applying colors and finishes and materials inside of the ERA or even the Keyshot environment, this is kind of brought into, that same functionality is brought into the Solid Edge environment. So again, saving us a few extra steps to go into another environment to do something that we can do right inside the assembly. So with this functionality here, we've had over 1,000 of really high-level materials and finishes added to this palette library. So you can see here we've got some architectural, we've got additive manufacturing materials, some PLA types here that we can select from, anodized materials. Let's see, we have fabrics, liquids, a lot of really cool finishes here that we can apply to models directly right here into the assembly model. But let's go ahead and look for our metals here, and we're going to go ahead and just select aluminum 6061 here, and we'll go ahead and just drag and drop right to the part that we just created. So really cool, quick and easy way to apply those parts, and again the properties and everything come along with that. So we didn't create the property type inside of the part itself, but it's very handy in order for with having the functionality and capability to do that inside of the modeling environment. Again, it just allows us to do more things in one environment as opposed to several other environments. So again, there's more than 1,000 different finishes and materials in here that we can select from. So another really good step to this process is that we get the ability to look at all of the styles that have already been applied. So initially, if we're going through and filtering down several thousand parts to find two or three surfaces that we need in the model, we can quickly capture those here if we need to reuse them later on down the road, and we don't need to filter through all of those thousands of parts. So let's go ahead and take that aluminum 6061 now and go ahead and just drag and drop it and apply it to the glass holder. So back here in the top level, there are a few last steps to make changes to the top level assembly here. So I'm going to change configuration here to get the parts required. And one of the final steps is to create an assembly feature to this. And as I mentioned previously, there are some new feature additions in the assembly environment here. So we've got new to Solid Edge 2023. We can now subtract as an assembly feature in the assembly. We can also create a slot. We can do a union, and we can also do a swept cutout. So let's go ahead and look at the swept cutout new feature to Solid Edge 2023. So just like the typical swept command, we can do a single path in cross section, or we can do a multi-path cross section. We'll leave everything else as default for now. And we'll go ahead and zoom in here so we see our path and our profile. There we go. Now, interesting thing here is we can see that our profile actually goes across several different parts. So the typical process for creating a sweep is to select the profile first as your first step. Select from sketch. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and accept that, and now we'll select our profile, our cutting profile here. There we go. So now the new part to this functionality, or the really cool part to this functionality, is now we have the ability to select cut bodies. So we can actually now select multiple bodies to which we can add one feature to. So we'll go ahead and select these top two wooden plinths in our assembly here. Get that second one there. And then once we have those two selected, we'll go ahead and hit accept and we'll finish it. We'll cancel out of the commands. We'll also go ahead and close the sketch here associated to this. And as you can see, that profile cut has been cut through both parts. So again, a really cool new feature in Solid Edge 2023 that just gives us a little bit more control and manipulation out of our assemblies in the assembly environment itself. All right, so now that we've finished our final changes to the top level assembly and all the associated parts, there's one more feature that I'd really like to highlight here. I think it's one of the coolest features, in my opinion, for Solid Edge 2023. So if I go to my Home tab here, I'll go ahead and change my final configuration here. And if I go to my Tools tab, we now have this Visual Explode command. So previously, if we wanted to explode a part or assembly or subassembly, we would have to go into the explode, render, animate, or the ERA environment in order to do that. So now, again, just allowing us to do more things inside of one environment, the better, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and activate this command and let's take a look at it here. So I'm going to first zoom out a little bit just to give me a little bit of room here. And I'm just going to quickly just grab this and pull it apart. And as you can see here, it starts to automatically kind of just manually or automatically explode that part here. So let's just go all the way out. I mean, as you can see here, there's thousands of parts that are associated to this this project here. And again, you can just get a level of the complexity of this machine and all of its included parts. You can see here there are just thousands and thousands of small little parts here. But this really helps to kind of really understand what all is involved in a project and in a complex design such as this. So we can zoom in and zoom out pretty quickly and easily here, and not have to go into another environment to do that. So this is just a standard explode command here, but there actually is some additional feature inside of this command that I think is even cooler. That's this explode stepwise command. So if I select this explode stepwise command and now pull this bar across, you can see that first it does the sub-assemblies, and then it expands. Let me zoom in here a little closer. Then it expands upon those sub-assemblies and into further sub-assemblies. So it's kind of stepping each one of these sub-assemblies out in a way that you can kind of better understand, the complexity of the part. So again, if I just scale it down a little bit, you can kind of see here, it starts collapsing by sub-assembly into the other sub-assembly into the top level assembly. So again, this is a really, really cool feature and just visually pretty stimulating in my opinion to see how quickly and easily you can create this. So as cool as this command is, there is some limitations to it. So as of to date, we really can't do anything with the Visual Explode except visualize what's happening inside the design as a user. So as of right now, you can't save these explosions as a configuration, but my assumption is that very soon, maybe as soon as an upcoming maintenance pack, we may have the ability to add those as configurations. So I think to me that would be extremely beneficial. But again, just the introduction to this functionality inside of the assembly command is just unreal. It's really, really cool. So now I'll go ahead and close that for now, and I'll go ahead and change my my configuration back to all parts. And we'll go ahead and now I'm finished with the part. Now I can go ahead and turn back off the large assembly performance mode. And that's going to kind of give me the more realistic rendered look here that I personally like to see when I'm looking at designs. Okay. So in summary, we explored Solid Edge's new user interface that aligns with the Siemens Mechanical Design, or SMD, corporate standards. We saw how we can quickly and easily access tools and commands right at our fingertips of the design using the new Enhanced Context toolbar. Being able to use regions and other synchronous capabilities in the ordered environment is a huge advancement in the way designers design parts, whether you're on the ordered or synchronous team or somewhere in between. We also learned how to quickly and easily add realistic rendered materials directly to the solid edge assembly environment by using the new Styles palette. Some of the new assembly features added this year, swept, cutout, subtract, union, and slot, with the capability to select multiple bodies to cut from, is a game changer. And then finally, we saw the very easy way to explode our assemblies using the new visual explode command. This again keeps us right in the assembly environment instead of having to jump into the ERA or the explode, render, animate environment to make these changes, ultimately saving us valuable time and effort getting those products out the door even quicker. So just a quick note, we're back to offering the in-person hands-on training classes in our Cincinnati office. We also have remote accessibility for those that are still unable to travel, but as always, in-person is always preferred. We offer the following classes on a monthly basis: Solid Edge MCAD, Fundamentals, Advanced, and Ordered Specific Training. We have NX CAD Essentials and Advanced. We have NX CAM or SE CAM Pro Fundamentals, Advanced, and Turning classes. We also have resources available for on-site custom-tailored training that fits your specific organization's targets and goals. And then finally, we have our Solid Edge University coming up in a few weeks here. So please join us if you can at the Topgolf in Cincinnati on January 19th for some free hands-on learning, food, drinks, and golf. For more information, you can contact your sales representative or find additional information on our training schedule at our Prolim.com training website. So now at this time, we'll take any questions that you may have. And if there are no questions at this time, always feel free to contact our support team or myself directly from the information shown here. As always, thanks and have a great day.